What's going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about, and I mean a lot. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So, everybody was calling me crazy. I had trolls in my comments telling me if you're wrong, make a video that you're wrong. And it looks like I was right about a drop happening before Christmas, a possible sell off, profit taking, whatever you want to call it, happening before Christmas. And one key level I kept giving you guys to worry about, to look at, to watch, to keep your eyes on is 598 on the spot, and we broke below that. I told you guys, if we break below 598, you're going to see domestic violence across the market. So kiss your father goodbye. He is not coming back with that milk. And so the question is, where do we go from here? Okay, where do we go from here? Are we going to continue to drop? Are we going to get a dead cat bounce? And if so, what targets are we looking at? And so the key level that we're looking at right now that needs to hold is 584 on the spot. If we want to see 584 hold, if we give up 584, we're heading towards the 570s. Now, remember, I told you guys, if we give up 598, we're heading to the 570s, okay? And I still stand by that. And so a few videos ago, I talked about whales loading up puts. You're free to check it out yourself. But I talked about whales loading up puts and a contract that was very specific to what they were paying attention to, or just pretty much, playing, was 576. 576 puts. Now, what's significant about 576? Well, if you go to the daily time frame on the SPY, ironic enough, there's a gap fill. Actually, there's two gap fills simultaneously right next to each other at 576. And so I do have a price target on the spot if we continue to see downside at 570. The lowest I'm looking at is 570, 569, give or take. But 576 is what I want you guys to pay attention to. I do think we're going to head towards that target. Now, if we just so happen to hold 584 and get some type of dead cat bounce, because I do believe that is very much possible, we can look at a move as high as 602. Why 602? Well, we go back to the 4-hour time frame. As you guys can see, we never retested 602. And remember, I kept talking about 602. I talked about it so much between 602, 598. I talked about those levels the most. And so we broke down, we gave up 602, but we never came back to retest it. And we left this huge void right here. We left a lot of illiquid area right here. And so I do imagine if we do get a dead cat bounce tomorrow, Friday maybe, we're going to head towards this target of 602 before seeing another breakdown. All right. Now, if we continue to further break down, then that's I guess, somewhat of a good sign for bulls. We hit 570, and then we see a massive recovery back towards the upside. So we head down to 576, 570 range, and then we start seeing that massive recovery to pretty much clear this area out. And then I imagine everybody's going to be like, "This is a Christmas rally" and all that fun stuff. But like I said before, I said this multiple times before, I'm not anticipating a Christmas rally. I'm just not. We've been running so much for the year. It's just hard for me to see a Christmas rally happening. So those are the key levels that I am looking at: 570, 576, somewhere around that range. And so we look at the triple Qs. And so my target for the triple Qs in regards to downside is going to sound crazy, but remember, every time you guys call me crazy, I end up being right. Okay, every time you guys troll in my comments, I end up being right. All right, so right now I'm like 3-0 with one of you. Okay, so 492, 492. All right, 492. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. 492. I think we're heading towards 492. Obviously, maybe a bounce or something will happen in between that, but 492. So my first target on triple Qs, at least for the short term, is a move towards 508, 505 range. After that, lowest I'm looking at is 492. We go to the daily time frame. All right. And so we go to the daily time frame, and there's a gap that needs to be filled right here at 492, 493 range, give or take. So that's what I'm looking at in regards to the triple Qs. I think that's where we're going to head. Now, granted, we are still within this rising wedge pattern. Crazy that rising wedge patterns work. Somebody was just pretty much saying that's all I focus on, but I mean, they work. I don't, they work, guy. I don't know. So, if we break below this rising wedge pattern, then we're definitely heading towards that 492 target, I believe. But your first target you want to look at is 508, 505 range. If we get a dead cat bounce from this point, which is very much possible considering where we closed, I'm looking at a retest back towards the 530s before seeing another breakdown. All right, so that's what I'm looking at in regards to the triple Qs. Things are not looking good. And so we got to talk about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gives up 100K, this thing is absolutely cooked. All right, 100K. It's not looking too good so far. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. 100K, after 100K, you are going to head to the abyss. You can start heading as low as about 85K. We'll talk about that if we get that 100K break, which will probably even happen tonight. So we'll see. Other than that, that's all I have for Bitcoin. It's just not really looking good right now, guys. So NQ, NQ not looking good as well. This thing can head towards 21K. Simple as that. That's all I got for NQ. I'm not going to drag this. ES 5800 is what you're looking at right now. You are currently breaking below the rising wedge or the rising channel actually. And I mean, look at this. You go to the daily time frame, right? I mean, look at this. You've been trading in this channel for so long, and now on a daily time frame. And granted, the day is not over, but you're breaking below it, guys. Okay, this is not a good sign for bulls. If you are bullish, this is not a good sign. Me, I'm excited. I'm honestly, I'm genuinely excited, guys. I finally we're going to start getting buying opportunities. So I take this how you want, but you should be excited. If you're a real trader, this should be exciting to you because we're finally getting a drop. We're finally getting a cool down. We're finally looking at possible buying opportunities in the stock market. I am here for this move. Whether I lost money or not, I'm here for this move. Okay, I'm really here for it. So that's what I'm looking at for the ES. I think we're going to start heading towards 5850, and then after that, we'll see what happens. But right now, we are breaking below this channel, so things are not, they're not looking good. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for the ES. And so we got to talk about semiconductors. And so one thing I will say I was wrong about is MU earnings. That thing got decimated. So I was wrong about that in our last video. But SMH, and so SMH, still respecting the 200 daily SMA. I will give it that much, but I genuinely believe SMH is going to head towards 220. Okay, if it gives up the 200 daily SMA, which I think is bound to happen at this point, you're looking at a move all the way towards 220. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. You're on a daily time frame. You're seeing this rising wedge, bounce here, rejection here, and then you broke below. You're consolidating below it, but given what MU earnings just did, and given the news that we just got, do imagine that at some point in time, SMH is going to give up this 200 daily SMA. And so right now we're in 220 puts for February 21st on SMA. I keep saying SMA, SMH. Right now we're in 220 puts for this. So yeah, if we give up the 200 daily SMA, if you want to wait on that, then feel free. But other than that, that's really all I have for SMH until we at least roll back into this rising wedge, which it just looks like bears are in full control right now. So really doubting that happens. I think SMH is going to continue to head further down. If we just so happen to get some type of dead cat bounce, I think it's going to be short lived. We can see one more retest back towards 247, 248 range before seeing another breakdown. So that's what I'm looking at in regards to SMH. So we got to talk about in IWM. Okay, and then we'll get into NVIDIA. I'm kind of doing things backwards here, but IWM, this thing is going straight to the abyss. You're looking at a move towards 213. We are in 213 puts for January 17th, I believe. So yeah, this thing is going to head to the abyss. Now, if we do get a dead cat bounce, that's absolutely fine. I'm fine with that. I would look for a retest back towards 227, 230 range. After that, I think this thing is cooked. It's going to head further down. IWM is very, very sensitive to news. Right now, it just has no incentive to be bullish anymore. Okay. After the news we just got, it just has no further incentive to be extremely bullish. So I'm not expecting a move back towards the upside anytime soon. And when I say upside, I mean like new highs or anything like that. Obviously, we're going to get like probably a dead cat bounce or something. But right now, I think IWM is going to head towards 213. Whales are continuously loading puts on this thing. Unfortunately, we didn't we our Discord bot alerted 221 puts. We didn't get in on time. I was hoping for some type of bounce before jumping in them, and yeah, those 221 puts came in. A few hours later, Powell just absolutely tanks this thing. That's crazy. All right, so that was a crazy, crazy move. And so we got to talk about Nvidia. Nvidia, I think, is simply heading towards 120, 119. If it's not there already after hours, because everything's just tanking after hours. And so Nvidia reclaimed 130 so far after hours, but I mean that can be short lived. We'll have to see. But as you guys can see, daily time frame, very clean head and shoulders, shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here. currently retesting. It looks like it's retesting the neckline around 132. So yeah, after that retest, I do imagine semiconductors are going to continue to head further down. Again, 200 daily SMA is at around 121. Well, actually, it's at 116, 115. But there is a gap that needs to be filled at 119. So I do think NVIDIA is going to head towards that target sometime this week, I imagine. And then from there, we'll have to see what happens. So things are just not looking good at all. So yeah, you got a gap fill right here. And so yeah, things are just looking really, really bad across the board. All right. Um, I mean, that's really all I have. Lastly, we can talk about the VIX, and then I'm gonna get you guys up out of here. So the VIX, yeah, like I said, it's just crazy. People keep telling me you can't plot this thing, and I'm like plotting it like clockwork and give you guys exact targets. I did not know it was at 27. Holy crap! Last time I looked at it, it was like 22. So now it's at 27. I think the VIX is going to head towards 35 at this point. Okay, 35. I told you guys 16 was my first target, 18 was my next target, 20 was the gap fill target, and we just went above and beyond. Broke above this falling wedge. Crazy. Keep getting told I can't plot this thing, and here we are breaking out of a bullish pattern. I don't know. We broke above the 200 daily SMA. So yeah, I do think the VIX is going to head towards 35. The reason why I'm saying 35 is just because whales constantly are loading there, and then there is a gap somewhere. Yeah, right here. So 35, that's where I think the VIX is going to head. We do have more news coming in between tomorrow and Friday, I believe. So yeah, if anything was going to motivate that, I imagine that would be the news. I don't think we're going to like tank right the week of Christmas. I think that would be insane. That would be so depressing if that happens. But yeah, 35 is the move that I'm looking at in regards to the VIX. And that's pretty much all I have, guys. I mean, it's just not looking good. Okay, it's just not looking good. Future videos, I'm just gonna give you guys targets on stock, so that way we can just like run through the videos. I'm gonna give you guys like exact targets, not pinpoint specific targets, but targets that I have for stocks. So like for example, SMH 220, and then I'm gonna move on. Nvidia 120, moving on. All right, but obviously I'm gonna focus on my expectations for the overall market. But I think it's just easier to do it that way. So let me know if that's something you would like. Other than that, Discord link is in the description below. If you want to see how we're going to trade the remainder of this week, and if we're anticipating some type of Santa rally or anything like that. But other than that, that's all I have. Until next video, traders, you have a good one.